Well, let's reconfirm capitalism and communism once again.
Okay.
Now,
Right.
what you have just described is the process whereby the government claims to own
That's right.
everything.
That's right.
In China,
That's
communism
right.
means that we all share, we all own the land, the farms, the factories,
Correct.
except there's only one problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to lease you from ourselves
That's right.
your house, your land, and your means of that production that you were talking about,
Correct.
that you used to think you
Correct.
owned. And we're going to put a term limit on it.
Sure.
And not only that, we're going to create another capitalist
Correct.
who can sublet the land that
Yes.
we have leased, and they can charge a higher price because we have a special kind of capitalism just for them. So how can you have so-called communism where everybody owns everything and shares everything equally, but somehow
Yeah.
somebody has got control over the assets of the country and is selling it
Yes.
or leasing it, not even selling, leasing back control of your very house or your very job or your very, factory floor to you at an exorbitant price. And that price goes up according to the laws of supply and demand, just like in the capitalist system that communism was supposed to supplant or
Sure.
replace. In other words, it's
Yep.
not communism anymore, is it?
No.
It's a system of exploitation now, isn't it? If prices
That's
are
right.
rising and wages are not. In other words,
That's right.
there's no difference
No
from the,
difference
the
whatsoever.
capitalist system that was originally designed to be liberated from.
Right.
And not only that,
Yep.
you do it under the burden of totalitarianism.
Correct.
At least in the original capitalist countries of like England
Sure.
and the United States, the people had the
Sure.
chance to vote. They had the
Yes.
chance to change government. They had the chance to have some measure of control over their leadership and the government policies, whether or not it was perfect or not. The
Certainly.
point is there was some level of influence. But in a
That's right.
totalitarian system where you have unbridled capitalism, where there is only
Yep.
one party in control, there's nothing
That's
you
right.
can do at all,
That's right.
except if you have some brains.
That's
And if you
right.
have some brains, guess what you do?
But
You try to partake in this capitalism inequality as much as possible. You try to claw yourself up from the exploited into the class of the exploiters.
that's right.
In other words, you try to become these nouveau capitalists that own the
Sure.
Foxconn factories or the building companies that are putting up apartment complexes. You try desperately to get into that class of people. In other words, you try to become a capitalist. And then what do you
Right.
do with all of your earnings? You leave.
Mm-hmm.
You escape.
Mm-hmm. That's
Because
right.
there's no future for you in that system.
Correct.
Because even if you bought 10 apartments, you're going to
That's
lose them in
right.
75 years. Your
That's
family is
right.
never going to be able to hold on to that. And in
Right.
a totalitarian system, if you've committed some kind of crime, a thought crime against the government, you might
That's
become
right.
an unauthorized person who can't send their
Correct.
children to school because you've had too many, or you can't exercise your freedoms and you even own your property or your land
That's right.
because somebody wants to put an airport there.
That's right.
Or maybe an Olympic
You
stadium.
bingo.
So you're
You got it
screwed in
down
every
right.
way, and there's only one recourse, and that is to escape with your money and run
That's
as
right.
fast as you can to a place where you can live your life in comparative freedom and own
Right.
something forever, such as Canada.
That's
You
right.
can buy a house here.
Bingo.
You can buy a house here,
Yes.
and you know what? Your family's going to own it for 1,000 years,
Correct.
maybe more, because
Yes.
there's no limit on those property rights. And
That's
the
right.
government does have some limited jurisdiction over that property, such as if they find oil underneath it, they
Right.
own the mineral rights. Okay,
Right. Right.
And if you're dumb enough to buy a house next to where they're probably going to make another highway,
Sure.
they can expropriate it. Okay, they
Right.
can take it away, and there's nothing you can do about it, and they will take away your house because they're putting an overpass or a bypass or a freeway. But you know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to pay you full market rate based on today's real estate prices.
That's right.
Okay, so they don't have the power to just take it. They're going to have to pay you for it as if you sold it on the open market. And if they didn't do that, you could take them to court and win, and there's a legal system to back you up, and you're protected by an actual functioning legal system. And you're also protected by the fact that you can live in a society where there is voting going on, where people who are unacceptably totalitarian cannot be elected. And other people who may or may not be honest, at least they're not going to take away your fundamental human rights and or your property ownership rights, because that's beyond their level of power.
That's right.
But that's not beyond the level of power in the country that you came from, which was called Communist China.
Correct.